All right, today we're going to finish up our mitten picture so it will look a lot like mine. We're going to complete the entire background. We're going to use patterns, a different pattern on the bottom of your paper, and then we're going to use a different pattern on the top of your paper. So what I did is I went ahead and drew my patterns, my big pattern shapes with Sharpie, and then I went back and colored them with crayon, and then I painted it with watercolor paints. So this is what your project should look like from last time. Don't have it like facing up because the mittens are supposed to be hanging down off the line like they're drying. So I'm going to turn it to where my paper is hanging downwards. And then I'm going to look at my sheet of different pattern ideas that you can use. You don't have to use these. You can make up your own patterns, but these are there to help you in case you can't think of anything. So I'm going to choose out what pattern I want for the top, and I'm going to use Sharpie to draw it. You can use Sharpie if you want to, just know that if you make a mistake, you can't erase it. You can also use pencil and then trace it in Sharpie later if you would rather do that. I kind of like the black outline in part of my patterns though, because it just makes them stand out a little bit better. So instead of polka dots on this one, I think I'm going to go with hearts. Kind of like hearts for polka dots. So I'm going to fill those in with my Sharpie. And then on the bottom, I think what I'm going to do is use a snowflake pattern since we're doing mittens. And I think I'll do a few snowflakes in my Sharpie. And then I'm going to do some other snowflakes, colorful snowflakes, with my crayon when I'm done. So now that I've got my patterns down, I'm going to go ahead and go back with my crayon and make it a little bit more colorful. So I'm going to add some like blue snowflakes coming down with it. And then on the top, I'm just going to pick out some colors of my crayon and color my hearts in. If you did zigzag lines or any kind of lines or other patterns, you can fill those in and color those in. If you did spirals, you could just use crayons for the spirals and make them nice and colorful. But notice how I have a different pattern on the top of my line and a different pattern on the bottom of my line. Once you have your patterns all done, you're going to use watercolor paint to paint the rest of your picture. Again, please try to leave the paints as nice as you can for the next person. Imagine what it would be like opening the paints and seeing them all mixed together and gross. So you want to really take care of them. Don't stab the paint, just pet the paint to get it on the brush. And then whenever you're done with one color, make sure you wash it off really good before you go into another color. Please don't mix the paints together. I just want to keep them looking nice as long as I can for the next group of kids. So once I get that done, I'm going to go in and just kind of paint in my picture. The bottom color is going to be different from the top color. So I think for this bottom color, you can see I'm using yellow. And I'm going back and forth with my brush. Notice how I'm not staying in one spot very long. If I keep painting over and over and over again in the same spot with the water, it's eventually going to put a hole in your paper. So what you want to do is make sure you have water, paint, and then you spread it out. Then you get more water, then more paint, and then you spread it out again. And when you're done, your picture should look something similar to mine, but obviously with different patterns and colors.